If you're planning or have even considered going to the Fringe Festival in Edinburgh and you have a disability or want to go with someone who has a disability, this film is essential viewing. I talked to Lyndsey McLean, the Community Engagement and Access Manager for the Edinburgh Festival Fringe Society, about the many things they've put in place to help you book, access and enjoy the festival. Don't worry about taking notes, I'll tell you how to get all the information as we go through the film. Hi Lyndsey, thank you very much for welcoming me to Edinburgh and also finding time to talk to me, because this must be a really busy time for you.
Fairly busy.
Yeah, so we're heading right up to the Festival Fringe, so
That's
everything is kicking off. We ought to start off by asking what actually is the Festival Fringe?
So the Edinburgh Festival Fringe is the largest arts festival in the world. It's an open access festival, which means nobody's in charge of it. There's no curator, there's no artistic director. Anybody can be part of the Fringe, and we're really proud of that. That's a very important part of the Fringe. Is anyone's welcome, everybody's welcome. Anyone can run a venue as long as they sort out kind of the legal side of running a venue. The Edinburgh Festival Fringe Society, who I work with, is the charity which supports the Fringe to happen. So the Fringe would happen with or without us. We're just there to kind of give it a bit more structure and help audiences to find venues, to help artists to be part of the festival. And for an audience member, we are the one place where you can get a ticket to any show in the Fringe.
We are here to talk about access, because I think your role is all about access for the festival.
Yes, absolutely. My role is kind of about looking at what barriers there are for people participating in the Fringe as performers, as audience members, and then what we as the Fringe Society can do to get rid of those barriers.
General accessibility. Something I was really impressed to see is that there are going to be 5 changing places in the centre of Edinburgh over the festival.
Yes, so there's 3 permanent ones, one in the Wetherspoons on Waverley Bridge, one in the National Museum of Scotland on Chambers Street, one in the Parliament at Holyrood, and then we have one for the duration of the Fringe, so that's the 3rd to the 27th of August, and that will be situated on Windmill Street in the Old Town. That will be open from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. from the 3rd to the 27th, and then the Book Festival, they also will have a changing place on Charlotte Square in the West End of Edinburgh, and that will be there for the duration of the Book Festival.
And just to explain, the changing places it's an accessible toilet with a hoist and a plinth, so it's for people who need a little bit more equipment than you'd find in a normal accessible toilet. Fantastic. And you also have a special ticket booking system as well, don't you, for people who need a bit of extra help?
Yes, so we've got our access booking service, and that is, so all of our box office team do receive access training, but we've got a specific team who really focus on that. And they're there for anyone who's got any access requirements at the Fringe. If you're going to see a show at any venue, you can contact them, let them know what your requirement is. They'll sort out your tickets for you, and they'll also let the venue know what your requirements are. So you don't really have, so the customer doesn't have to go through that themselves with every single venue. Okay. And they also, if people just have any additional questions about access that they can't find anywhere else, that team are really good at finding more information out. Yeah. So anyone with access requirements should definitely go through that.
Okay, and that's obviously not just people who've got wheelchair access requirements as well. It's if you have any sensory issues or
anything at
visual
all.
impairments
Yeah,
or anything
any additional requirement, whether that's you're not able to stand in the queue, you would like to know where the BSL interpreter is going to stand, you want to book a captioning unit, anything at all, and they can take bookings and talk to people over the phone, by email or by text message, so they're very flexible.
Fantastic. And do you offer PA tickets if someone's coming with a carer or a PA to enable that? Yes.
So almost every show in the Fringe offers a free personal assistant ticket, and to get that ticket, again, just go through our access bookings team and let them know that's something that you need. If you don't use a wheelchair, you can do that all online. You don't actually even have to talk to anyone if you don't want to. And if you do use a wheelchair, you can do that either by email, text message, or on the phone.
Okay. So people who have a hearing impairment, you're able to offer some sign interpreting?
So we have a number. We aren't able to offer interpretation ad hoc, but there are a number of shows which are signed up as having BSL interpretation, which you can find on our website. We also have, we work with Contact Scotland BSL, so anyone who uses sign language and wants to get in touch with our box office or customer service team can do that through Contact Scotland BSL, and they have video interpretation. We also have captioned shows at the Fringe as well, so that's shows which have speech-to-text captioning for for all their dialogue and sound that's happening. And again, you can find information about that on our website.
And I think there's audio description. Is that available for people with
right.
visual impairments?
So we basically have shows which will offer audio description, they'll offer relaxed performances, BSL interpretation or captioning. I'm not sure if anyone is, there is probably some show that is offering all of those things on different performance dates. But the best thing to do to find about any of those things is to go to the access section of our website. And that's where all those listings are.
Fantastic. So you mentioned relaxed performances there. There's quite a lot of information on the website. I had a look and I was really impressed about the detail that went into for the shows that we're offering a relaxed performance. How much information there was there. I really get a sense I would know what to expect when I went.
Good, that's
really
what we're
important,
hoping for. Yes, so the way the Fringe works, we don't invite anybody to come and perform, we don't run any venues. People sign themselves up to be part of the Fringe, and when they tell us they're coming, we ask them, are you offering any accessible performances? And we give them the examples. And if they say they're offering a relaxed performance, we just try and get as much information out of them as possible to pass on to the audiences. And we do our utmost to make sure that's the correct information. But with 3,000 shows, we don't see everything before it happens. So we are relying on the companies to give us that information, and so far it's been going well. It'll be good to see how it actually, as the Fringe progresses, how it all goes.
Do you have a method for people to feed back to you after the festival?
Yes, they can get in touch with us through our customer service team. So we've got an email for customer services and a phone number. We're really keen to get as much feedback as possible to find out what's working, what's not working, and it's best to get that feedback during the Fringe because it's such a fast-paced environment. We can talk to companies and see what changes we can make during the Fringe. So, when a lot of people think about the Fringe, they think about the street events, and we manage the space on the High Street in Edinburgh and also the Mound next to the National Gallery. And that's where there are a lot of street performers and street artists. It's kind of the heart of where the Fringe is. It's a very busy and exciting environment. We're really excited this year. So we have some funding from the Festival's Edinburgh Tourism Innovation Fund to have BSL interpretation on 2 days on the High Street. So that'll be on the 18th and 19th of August. And that will be at the West Parliament Square stage. There'll be BSL interpretation of whatever is happening on that stage. Wow. The interpreters themselves are very excited because there's no way of prepping them for what happens. Those spaces, they're decided by a draw in the morning, so it's all kind of up for grabs what might happen. It's very exciting. So we hope to see lots of people along who might not normally have felt there was something for them on the High Street, and we'll also have accessible viewing areas on at some of the stages on the High Street, which again is really exciting because it's just another way for us to help people to experience that space.
You also have some backpacks, which I think we're going to look at now. So explain to me what these are.
So we have a couple of we're calling them sensory backpacks. We were fortunate enough to get some funding from Festival's Edinburgh Tourism Innovation Fund, and Trespass helped us out as well too. So we've got these lovely backpacks for children, for adults or older children, because these are very small.
Yes.
And I can go through what's inside.
Yeah, I would love you to,
helpful.
please.
So in the small one, excitingly, we have a cuddly toy, which is always nice. These backpacks are quite coveted in our office at the moment as well.
Yeah, I bet.
Some ear defenders to help kind of block out any additional noise. Stress trams, so thank you to Lyndsey Trams for their stress trams. A water bottle, because hopefully we'll have lovely weather in the summer and it's important to stay hydrated.
Yep.
We'll have fidget spinners in there as well, and there'll also be some listings of accessible performances, particularly of the relaxed performances. We'll have a map of Edinburgh in there as well, and also a feedback card, because it's the first year that we've done these backpacks, and we've done as much research as we can, but it's hard to get things right the first time, so we want to get some feedback to make sure next year we can make them even better. And also to find out if people are using them, what they thought of them, what they would like to see in a backpack in the future, all that sort of thing. So we're looking for lots of feedback.
And these are free to borrow?
That's right, so they'll be free to borrow. At the moment, all people have to do is bring along some photographic ID. We've got 25 children's, 25 adult ones. We're not having a booking system, so it is first come, first served. Okay. And they can be borrowed from the Fringe shop on the High Street. There'll be a Fringe shop in Waverley Station as well that they can be borrowed from, and other locations in the city, which we are confirming at the moment.
Okay. As far as wheelchair users go, Edinburgh is an old city.
Yes.
Some interesting venues. How on earth do you manage that?
It's tricky. So as I said before, we don't ask anyone to perform. We don't run any venues, but we do support everyone who wants to be part of the Fringe, and part of that involves working with the venues to help them to be as accessible as they can be. So we have a venue access awards scheme, which we developed with an organisation called Attitude is Everything. And that involves venues sign up to that. At level 1, it's all about getting all your information right so people can make informed decisions. And that's really been a focus for us this year, is to get as much information out of venues as possible, so nobody's turning up somewhere and then discovering there's 3 steps that they can't get up, for example.
And I think all the information, again, is on the website about which venues are wheelchair accessible and which ones
Yes,
are
so
not.
you can search, if you're searching for a show, you can search, you can use the advanced search function and search for shows that are wheelchair accessible. And you can also go to our venue index on our website, and that breaks down the access information, not just by the venue, but by the spaces in the venue. As Fringe goers will know, lots of venues will have more than one space, and the access to each space can vary. So we're now working with the venues to get all that information out of them, so we can be really upfront about which spaces within a venue are accessible.
Going back to the website, it's a mine of information, and I'll make sure that we put the link down below to the actual access page, because that's where I started off, and it was really intuitive about where you went for what information. Good. So I would highly recommend anyone who's coming to the Festival Fringe who's got access requirements goes to the website, to get that information, because there's loads there. Well, thank you, Lyndsey. That's been really interesting insight into what's going on behind the scenes, and for people to know what to expect when they come to the festival. And so I would say get onto the website, or if you're in Edinburgh, you can pick up one of your programmes, which is full of all the information and has pages at the front with the access information in it as well.
Yes.
Call the number if you want access information, and get along to the Fringe, because it's a great thing to come and experience.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Lyndsey.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for watching. All the information to go with this film is in the notes below. Just click on the little arrow or the show more just under the picture. I'd love you to leave comments, and if you'd like to see more of these films, don't forget to hit the red subscribe button.